In this video I'll talk about Walker Bulldog, which is a tier 7 US light tank. It's the tank before the new T-49, which has this awesome rocket launcher of a gun which everyone wants to get. But before putting your hands on T-49 you have to play quite a few games in Walker Bulldog. So I'll try to tell you how to play this tank, well, how I play this tank. Unfortunately, it's not great, at least for me, because it has very little armor. It just can't stand on its own, and you have to play it mostly like a chicken avoiding fight. The gun is, well, it doesn't have great penetration or great DPM, but it's not bad. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack compared to other mediums or to other light tanks. The greatest asset of this tank is mobility. It's really fast, it drifts like a boss, so it's fun to play. But unfortunately, when you are left one versus several other tanks, it could be really hard to pull the victory. Again, because this tank just lacks stopping power, and when enemies close, they tend to rush you, and you can't defend yourself effectively. And often enemy tanks could just out DPM you. In this particular game I'm not doing anything special, I'm just playing support role, and as you've seen, several enemy tanks, they just did a lot of mistakes. They tried to rush us and we were able to focus fire them and kill easily. But now enemy becomes a bit more reserved, so we have to really work our way through the remaining health pool. But back to Walker Bulldog. There are actually two guns which are quite competitive. The first one is auto loader, but I tried to play with auto loader, but it has even less penetration, and what happens in practice is that you unload the whole clip and you could easily bounce a couple of shots and then you have to fall back to reload, while you get a shot or a couple of shots in return, so the trade is not very effective. And for me it's a bit hard to play it as auto-loader, but with this gun it's fine. Well, as far as my team stays alive, and it's actually very important to make sure that your teammates are alive. Just distract your opponents and try to help your teammates to stay alive. But I mean, if they're heavies and if they split, you can't do much about this. So how to play this tank? Again, spot early and then play it as a chicken. Fall back, snipe, and then look for isolated targets and look for opportunities, which is really a hard thing to do. So the game that you'll see now is a bit tough for me. I have decent opposition, so I'm not sure what to do at the start, and I'm thinking that probably I should go to the center of the map and try to spot for the team. And at the center of the map there is a very good location for this tank, somewhere between those houses behind a bush. Fortunately we are able to spot someone pretty early, and I'm trying to set up an ambush, but that Comet is not stupid, so he stays behind the buildings and I don't have a clear shot. Fortunately someone else is going to hunt the Comet, and I'm trying to use this opportunity to combine our DPM. That was a very lucky shot, and I'm not keen to expose I don't want to expose more of myself, because I know that Comet has pretty good DPM and it will be able to just kill me in place. But still I feel that this tank has to go down, because it would be very dangerous, and again it's isolated and we already have like 3 tanks targeting him, maybe even more. Look there were several tanks on him, and I lost almost half of my health, and that's how bad it could be. Now I see another opportunity, which is Tiger. I think that everyone should be at the mill now, and here is the speed of Walker Bulldog. It's a true light tank. You could easily run cycles around your opponents, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this Tiger. So as you see, the mobility is good enough, so I don't have to even track the Tiger to cycle him. The game is neck and neck. Basically, we killed 2 tanks and they killed 2, now 3 our tanks. And I suspect that it would be tough to crack them as they have high ground, but we're also in a good shape. So at this point I'm trying to hunt down this IRL, because the guy's from Atlas and he's a very good player. I just won't be able to handle him by myself. So at this point, my idea is to just distract him, and I hope that the rest of the team would be able to handle other tanks. Well, fortunately, I'm able to do some damage. Look, that Walker Bulldog actually has pretty good gun depression, so I'm able to work these hills properly, but it doesn't have much armor in the turret, so Real could easily penetrate it right through the turret, and that's the opportunity that I have. I hope that our green tanks would push Reds out of that comfort zone, and I would be able to hit them through that volley. Now I decide to kind of flank everyone. It's actually a good idea to change locations frequently in this tank, because you would be able to carry those surprise attacks, and again, many people just don't have good reactions to turn quickly, and you will be able to just drive by unnoticed. And this is pretty close. Yeah, I was lucky that I have managed to survive this encounter, but it was necessary because I brought confusion to enemy camp, which allowed the rest of our team to get in and finish them. And the game you see right now is really interesting. As you have noticed, we have Borsig, and this is our key to victory because it has very good gun. But what's very important is to allow Borsig to work in this situation, which means that it has to camp bush near the spawn, and we have to make sure that it has shots over the dunes, which means that we have to spot for the Borsig, but we shouldn't go to the caves to the left, which means, yeah, as you see, I'm writing to my team to back off. It's very important to stay a bit back, because what often people do is that they go to those caves, they stay there, trade shots with the enemy which outnumbers them. Borsig doesn't have shots because red tanks are obscured by those caves, but the walls of the caves or the passage on the flanks, as you see. So you have to draw them out, so they would try to chase you, which will allow Borsig to work. So at this point I noticed that our Dracula went for the IS, and I'm rushing to help it with IS. And as you will see shortly, we have a platoon of other Walker Bulldogs. They see that we isolated their friend, and they rush to save him. And that's one of the things which you should be doing if you're driving a light tank. Try to save your teammates. This is exactly the right thing for them to do. Unfortunately, the IS is a kind of special player. I'm trying to remove his gun as soon as possible, but I lose quite a lot of health during the process. That platoon is pretty good. What they do is they run together. They have almost equal speed, so they could combine the DPM and they could easily focus fire on isolated tanks and kill them quickly. I disengaged because I don't want to fight alone against them. I predicted Dracula would go down pretty soon. I don't have faith in him, and I'd like to concentrate on the remaining tanks. And now we are 4 versus 2. Yes. And look at what they're doing now. They are running cycles together, and by doing this they make our team to spread, and that's exactly what you should be doing when you are driving light tank, because we have faster tanks and slower tanks. We will try to chase them, and eventually we would be all over the map, so they would be able to concentrate fire much more effectively, killing us. At this point I'm rushing to cover Borsig because he's a big gun, and I hope that he will start capturing the base, putting pressure on the cap area. Ideally, to counter this, you have to pair with another tank, like Comet. Is it a Comet in our team? Yeah. So you won't be alone, and you would be able to combine DPM with someone else. But these guys, they just play this beautifully. I mean, at this point they stopped, and this was probably the wrong idea. They probably should be running around trying to unwind us even more, and by kind of staying and accepting the fight, they will lose this game. But I feel that they should have won this game because they were playing it exactly the right way. They're running cycles, killing less healthy opponents, and it's a very, very good tactic. Look, now we are left 2 versus 1 tank, and I believe that if they would be running more, they could have pulled out the victory. But again, keep this in mind. If you are alone, or if you are running with someone else, try to unwind enemy team like they do. Another opportunity for the Walker Bulldog are supremacy games, because in supremacy mode you have to capture enemy bases, and it's really good for fast tanks, because if at the start of the game you are able to capture 2 or 3 bases, you could just stay alive and run away from your opponents and win by staying alive. And this is a very good opportunity for this tank. So as you see, I rushed to the left, and we are going to capture that base. Hopefully I'm not alone on this flank, and hopefully our team would stay alive and we won't be swamped by the red team. And now I'm starting to trade shots, and this is not what you should be doing, because generally it doesn't work well. On the bright side, I am not alone trading shots here, so basically there are several tanks and we kind of distract them, and that's why it probably works for us. But generally just don't do this, because again, you would be losing health for nothing. That being said, I'm actually at the second line, and probably my opponents actually target that Chiri in front of me, so I'm relatively safe. But I would like to avoid the situation, and I'm driving around to get to the flank. And when you get to the flank, you actually see weak side and rear armor of tanks, and that's the opportunity for you. Look at that KV-3. We could easily destroy him when we get his side or his back, and that's what you should be doing. Always try to flank your opponents, try to get behind them. Again, that tiger, it doesn't turn, and when you hit it at the rear, it's just free damage for you. But again, you should feel when it's safe to do and when it's not safe, because right at this point I could easily die, because one shot from the Borsig and STA and I'm dead. I try to eliminate Borsig as soon as possible, because it's the most dangerous tank for me. But otherwise, try to avoid those situations, because they're really bad. You won't stay alive for for a long time. Just don't do this. This tank doesn't take damage very well. What I really miss driving this tank are binoculars, because this piece of equipment was really good. It allowed me to stay safe and spot enemy at quite a range, and that's really how it works for light tanks. Well, maybe because maps are not that large, binoculars probably were overpowered, but honestly they were so useful, and I really missed them, especially at this point, because I would be able to spot enemies from much larger distance. I don't like to be an active scout driving Walker Bulldog or basically any tank without much armor, and I actually have pretty bad feeling about this game, because my team haven't moved from the spawn, and all this spotting is just for nothing, because it just camp at the base, and it's a supremacy mode. You have to be capturing the bases, and I was thinking that we are going to lose this game. I'm running around and I'm not sure where to go and what to do, because I'm really scared. I see that we've been flanked, and yeah, that was a good drift. And I'm at a loss what to do. So I don't want to go to the town. I believe that now Reds should be pretty much distracted by our tanks in the middle, and I see the opportunity to kill that IS tank. That was a very fortunate miss, and now we'll try to remove them from the game. So that's what I was talking about when I was talking about opportunities. Those are opportunities which you should be looking for. Try to find isolated tank. Try to combine your DPM with DPM of other tanks and kill them quickly. Now I don't want to trade shots, and I'm falling back. I don't want to do this at all. So I see that there are enemies on the other side of the map, and I believe that they will be brave enough to get out of the city, and this again is an opportunity for me to kill them from the safe distance. So I believe that I'm not spotting them, but again I'm helping with my DPM, and at this point every little helps. Okay. Every shot helps, essentially, because if you have a tracked tank and you are able to land at least a couple of shots and bring him down, that's already minus red gun. And I'm rushing to the town. Why? Because we have to press them, because they have two bases, and we have to kill them as soon as fast as possible, and especially that T-29. I'm pretty scared, because T-29 has tough armor, and its frontal hull armor is even way too strong for me, but I use my mobility to cycle him and to bring him down. And this is very important, because when you lose on capture points, you have to press, otherwise you would lose. And it's kind of that situation where you have to rush enemy tanks because you just don't have time. Again, it's most likely will be a lost game, but you're going to lose anyway. So I'm playing this aggressively, and unfortunately this is not a tank which could be played aggressively, but somehow it works for me. Somehow the rest of the team is able to wake up and start doing the damage. So that was the last game. And again, what I would like to say about this tank is that it's very fast, it's really fun to play, but it requires a lot of thinking, so it's probably not for beginners. But otherwise, don't be scared, play this. Thanks for watching, and bye.